Have you ever had a moment where a small, everyday thing sets off a huge emotional reaction inside you? Maybe it's a car backfiring down the street, or a particular tone of voice, or even just a sudden change of plans at work. You might find your heart starts pounding, your palms get sweaty, and a wave of panic or anger washes over you, feeling completely out of proportion to what just happened. You're left standing there, maybe in a public place, wondering, where on earth did that come from? Why am I reacting so strongly to something so minor? It's a disorienting feeling, almost like your body has a mind of its own. If that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. And what you're experiencing isn't a character flaw, or a sign that you're broken or that you're overreacting. It's actually a sign that your brain's ancient survival system is working just a little too efficiently for your current environment. This kind of intense, disproportionate reaction is often a footprint left behind by trauma. Now, when we hear the word trauma, we often think of major, catastrophic events like natural disasters or combat. And while those are certainly traumatic, trauma is actually much broader. It's any experience that overwhelms your ability to cope, leaving you feeling helpless, unsafe, or utterly out of control, even if it seems minor to someone else. This could be chronic neglect, a difficult breakup, or even ongoing criticism. The most important thing to understand here is that trauma isn't just a memory of a bad event locked away in your mind. It's a deep physiological imprint, a physical change in your very nervous system. It literally changes or rewires the physical structure and the functional pathways of your brain, affecting how you perceive the world and react to it. But here's the part I really want you to hear. The core message of today. That wiring isn't permanent. The same incredibly adaptable brain that was rewired by trauma has a remarkable built-in ability to rewire itself back toward healing, safety, and a sense of calm. This process is called neuroplasticity, and today we're going to walk through exactly how that works and what you can do to harness it. To understand how trauma rewires the brain, we first need to meet the three key players in your brain's safety crew. Think of it like a highly specialized, somewhat dramatic security team inside your head. First up, we have the amygdala. This is your brain's ancient, primal smoke detector. Its only job is to scan for any hint of danger. And when it senses a threat, real or perceived, it sounds the alarm with incredible speed. It's fast, it's emotional, and it doesn't think or analyze. It just reacts. It's the part of your brain that would make you jump back from a snake before you even consciously registered seeing it. Next, we have the hippocampus. This is like the brain's meticulous librarian, or maybe its careful archivist. Its primary job is to take all your daily experiences and file them away as coherent memories, complete with context. It understands the crucial details of time and place. It knows that the scary thing that happened 5 years ago is firmly in the past, and it files it neatly in the history section, labeling it clearly, not the happening now section. It helps you differentiate between what's currently happening and what's a past event, giving you a sense of continuity and safety. And finally, there's the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. This is the watchtower, the calm, strategic CEO of your brain. It's the rational, thinking, problem-solving part that can look at the smoke detector beeping, calmly check for an actual fire, and then say, hey, calm down, team. It's just burnt toast in the kitchen. No real danger. The PFC helps regulate emotions, make thoughtful decisions, plan for the future, and put things into perspective. It's what allows you to pause, reflect, and choose your response, rather than just reacting impulsively. It's really the conductor of your brain's orchestra. In a healthy, non-traumatized brain, these three work together beautifully, like a well-oiled machine. The smoke detector, your amygdala, might occasionally go off with a small alert, but the watchtower, your PFC, quickly assesses the situation, determines there's no real threat, and calms it down. Meanwhile, the librarian, your hippocampus, files the event away correctly, understanding it as a minor incident in the past. It's a balanced, effective team that keeps you safe without keeping you in a constant, exhausting state of alarm, allowing you to live your life with a sense of security and presence. Now, let's look at what happens when a traumatic event occurs. The experience is so overwhelming, so intense, that the whole system gets completely flooded. The smoke detector, your amygdala, doesn't just go off, it starts screaming, fire, immediate, catastrophic danger at the top of its lungs. It floods your entire body with powerful stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, preparing you instantly to fight, to flee, or to freeze. This is your ancient primal survival instinct kicking in, and it's an incredibly powerful automatic response designed to keep you alive, overriding everything else. During this intense, all-consuming alarm, something crucial and protective happens. The rational watchtower, your prefrontal cortex, essentially goes offline. The sheer flood of stress hormones is far too much for it to handle, and your body prioritizes immediate survival over complex thought. Think about it. When you're face-to-face with a lion in the wild, you don't need to be thinking about your grocery list or your taxes. You need to react instantly, without hesitation. So the thinking, analytical brain takes a temporary backseat to the raw, instinctual survival brain, which is purely focused on getting you out of danger. At the same time, the meticulous librarian, your hippocampus, gets severely disrupted. It's desperately trying to file this terrifying, overwhelming memory. But because the watchtower is offline and the alarm is so deafeningly loud, it simply can't do its job properly. The memory doesn't get stamped with a clear time and place. Instead, it gets shattered into fragmented pieces, vivid images, piercing sounds, overwhelming emotions, and intense physical sensations. And these fragments are left scattered all over the place, like pages ripped from a book, instead of being filed neatly in the past cabinet. This is why trauma memories can feel so disjointed and hard to recall coherently. This is the core of the rewiring. After the trauma, the brain doesn't just reset and go back to normal. It adapts to a world it now perceives as inherently dangerous. The smoke detector, your amygdala, becomes hypersensitive, like a fire alarm that's been set to trigger at the slightest whiff of dust. It stays on constant, high alert, constantly scanning for threats, even when none exist. Research, some as recent as 2025, shows that under chronic stress and trauma, the amygdala can actually grow in size and density, making it even more efficient and better at its job of detecting danger, real or imagined. Meanwhile, the diligent librarian, the hippocampus, can actually shrink. Several landmark studies have shown volume reductions of about 10 to 15% in individuals with chronic stress and PTSD. This shrinkage makes it even harder to form new, coherent memories, and crucially, to distinguish between past and present. This is precisely why a present-day trigger, like that unexpected car backfiring or a sudden loud noise, can feel exactly like the past trauma is happening all over again, right now. The librarians simply can't tell the difference, leaving you trapped in a loop of past danger in the present moment. And the wise watchtower, the prefrontal cortex, remains weakened, or at least its communication lines are severely frayed. The crucial connection between the thinking, rational brain and the emotional, reactive brain becomes less effective. So when the hypersensitive smoke detector goes off, which is now quite often, the watchtower struggles immensely to send the all-clear signal. The result is a brain that feels perpetually stuck in survival mode, constantly anticipating danger. You're essentially living with a smoke detector that goes off at the slightest hint of steam, and a fire chief who can't effectively turn it off, leaving you feeling helpless and overwhelmed. So, what does this actually look like in daily life, beyond the scientific terms? Let's revisit our friend Alex. Alex was in a severe car accident about a year and a half ago, and the memory still haunts them. Today, Alex is at a busy grocery store, trying to pick out some produce, when suddenly, someone drops a jar of pickles on the tiled floor. The loud smash instantly triggers Alex's rewired brain. The amygdala screams, "Danger! Incoming impact!" without checking any facts. The hippocampus, unable to contextualize, pulls up the fragmented, terrifying memory of the crash, not as a memory from the past, but as a current, imminent event. Alex's heart instantly races, their breathing becomes shallow and fast, their body tenses up, and they feel the exact same terror, the same cold dread they felt in the accident itself. The prefrontal cortex is completely offline, overwhelmed by the alarm, so Alex can't rationalize. It's just a broken jar. I'm safe. This is a grocery store. To Alex's nervous system, the danger is absolutely real, and it is happening right now, in this moment. This isn't a conscious choice. It's a powerful, involuntary physiological response, dictated by a brain that has been profoundly rewired for survival, prioritizing immediate protection over logical thought. This constant state of being on high alert, this hypervigilance, is utterly exhausting. It drains your energy, makes you constantly jumpy, and can lead to chronic anxiety, irritability, severe sleep problems, and difficulty concentrating on tasks. It also very often leads to avoidance behaviors. Maybe Alex stops going to grocery stores altogether. Then perhaps they avoid any crowded public places, or even driving their car. The world starts to shrink dramatically as the brain tries desperately to protect itself from any possible trigger, creating a smaller, seemingly safer existence. This is the tragic but understandable logic of trauma, and it makes perfect sense from a survival standpoint, even if it limits your life. Okay, that was the heavy part, and I know it can feel quite overwhelming to hear all of this. If you're feeling a bit heavy or overwhelmed right now, please take a deep breath, because everything we've just described is only half the story, and certainly not the end of it. The brain is not a static, fixed organ. It's constantly changing, adapting, and learning based on our experiences, even years after a traumatic event. This incredible, built-in ability of the brain to reorganize itself, to form new neural connections, and to heal is called neuroplasticity, and it is absolutely the key, the fundamental key to healing from trauma. Neuroplasticity means that the same brain that learned to be afraid and hypervigilant can, with intentional effort and support, learn to feel safe again. The neural pathways that were strengthened by trauma, the danger highways, can be weakened over time, and new, healthier, safety pathways can be built and reinforced. Healing from trauma isn't about erasing the past or forgetting what happened. That's not possible. Instead, it's about rewiring your brain's response to those memories and triggers. It's about teaching your internal security team a new, more accurate way to work together, based on the safety and reality of the present, not the danger of the past. So, how do we actually begin this profound process of rewiring our brains? Interestingly, and often counterintuitively, we often have to start with the body, not the mind. This is what's called a bottom-up approach to healing. Remember how the thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, essentially goes offline during a triggered response? You simply can't reason with a nervous system that's in full-blown panic mode. It's like trying to have a calm conversation with someone who's convinced their house is on fire. First, you have to help the body, the most primal part of you, feel safe and regulated before any logical processing can happen. This involves implementing practices that directly regulate your autonomic nervous system, the unconscious control system of your body. Simple things like deep, slow, diaphragmatic breathing send a direct, powerful signal to your brain that you are not, in fact, in immediate danger. Specifically, when you make your exhale longer than your inhale, you activate the vagus nerve, which acts like a natural brake on your body's stress response. It tells the smoke detector, your amygdala, that it's okay to stand down, that the perceived threat has passed, and that it can dial down the alarm system, bringing a sense of calm to your entire system. Grounding techniques are also incredibly powerful tools for this bottom-up regulation. These are simple acts that pull your attention out of the past trauma and firmly into the present moment. Things like feeling the solid chair beneath you, noticing the specific temperature of the air on your skin, or naming 5 distinct things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. These simple acts help the hippocampus recognize, oh, I'm here, in this room, in 2026. This is now, and I am safe right now, effectively reorienting you to current reality. And physical activity is a huge, often underestimated component of healing. Research from just this year, 2026, continues to show that regular, consistent physical activity, even moderate exercise like walking, can actually reverse some of the detrimental ways trauma shapes brain communication. It helps release feel-good neurochemicals like endorphins and endocannabinoids, which naturally reduce stress and pain. Crucially, it supports the growth of new brain cells, especially in the hippocampus, helping it regain its size and function. It also helps your body literally complete the survival response, like running away, that got stuck during the trauma, releasing that pent-up energy. Therapies like somatic experiencing, developed by Peter Levine, or sensory motor psychotherapy, are designed specifically for this body-first approach. They help you gently, slowly, and safely tune into your body's physical sensations, rather than just talking about the event. This allows you to process and release that trapped survival energy, the fight, flight, or freeze response that never fully resolved, in a safe, controlled, and titrated way. It's all about teaching the body, on a deeply physical and physiological level, that the threat is definitively over, and that it can finally relax and return to a state of calm. Once the nervous system is a bit calmer, once the body feels a greater sense of safety and regulation, then, and only then, can the thinking brain start to effectively come back online. This is where top-down approaches come in, engaging your prefrontal cortex. Now, we can strategically work on processing the traumatic memories themselves, challenging the distorted thought patterns associated with them, and integrating the experience. This is about helping the librarian, your hippocampus, finally do its job of filing those fragmented memories away properly, giving them context and placing them firmly in the past. Therapies like EMDR, which stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, are incredibly effective for this memory processing. EMDR uses bilateral stimulation, often guided eye movements, but sometimes tapping or tones, to help the brain process and file away those stuck, fragmented memories that the hippocampus couldn't handle. It's thought to mimic the brain's natural processing during REM sleep. It doesn't erase the memory, but it gently takes away the intense emotional charge and the feeling that it's still happening in the present, allowing you to recall the event without being overwhelmed by it. Other approaches, like cognitive processing therapy, or CPT, help you directly challenge the unhelpful, often self-blaming beliefs that trauma frequently leaves behind. These are beliefs like, I'm not safe anywhere, it was my fault somehow, or I can't trust anyone, including myself. By systematically examining, questioning, and ultimately changing these distorted thoughts and interpretations, you actively strengthen the prefrontal cortex. This process puts the watchtower firmly back in charge, allowing it to accurately assess current reality and regulate your emotional responses with greater clarity and control, rather than being hijacked by old fears. The ultimate goal of all this challenging but rewarding work is integration. It's about getting the whole team, the smoke detector, the librarian, and the watchtower, working together again in a coherent, harmonious way. The traumatic memory becomes just that, a memory, a part of your life story, but it no longer dictates your present reactions or runs the entire show. The alarm system is recalibrated to match the actual level of danger in your current life, not the perceived danger from the past. You gain a sense of wholeness, where your past experiences are integrated into who you are, without controlling you. Now, the field of trauma treatment is evolving at an incredibly rapid pace, almost month by month. What's truly exciting about being in 2026 is that we have more sophisticated tools and a deeper understanding of the brain than ever before. For cases of treatment-resistant PTSD, or for those seeking accelerated healing, new, cutting-edge interventions are showing incredible promise by directly targeting the brain's neuroplasticity in novel ways, offering hope where traditional methods might have struggled. It's a testament to human ingenuity and the brain's amazing capacity. Techniques like transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS, use precisely targeted magnetic pulses to gently stimulate specific areas of the brain, particularly the underactive prefrontal cortex, helping it to wake up and get back online. And recent studies on things like ketamine-assisted psychotherapy are showing truly remarkable results. It can rapidly promote the growth of new neural connections and pathways, essentially helping the brain get unstuck from deeply ingrained traumatic patterns much faster than traditional talk therapy alone, providing a window for significant therapeutic breakthrough and change. There's even fascinating research into photobiomodulation, which uses a special headset with near-infrared light to improve brain function and promote healing at a cellular level, particularly after injury or chronic stress. The point here is not to overwhelm you with technical terms, but to emphasize that science is constantly confirming what survivors have always intuitively known. Healing is profoundly possible, and we're discovering more and more diverse, effective pathways to get there, offering tailored solutions for individual needs, bringing renewed hope to many. Healing from trauma is truly a journey of intentional rewiring. It's about creating consistent, new experiences that gently contradict the old, ingrained lessons of fear and helplessness. Every single time you successfully soothe your nervous system with a breathing exercise, every time you choose a healthy, supportive relationship, every time you allow yourself to feel safe in your body, even for a moment, you are actively laying down and strengthening new, resilient neural pathways. You are literally telling your brain, through repeated experience, the war is over. I am safe now. This is a different reality. It's crucial to remember that this is not a quick fix, and it's certainly not a linear path. There will be good days, days where you feel immense progress, and there will be hard days where old patterns might resurface, and that is completely normal. But it is fundamentally a hopeful path, one that leads to greater freedom and peace. Your brain was initially wired for survival, and that is an incredible, powerful strength. Now, you can consciously use that same incredible capacity for change and adaptation to wire it for peace, for connection, for safety, and for a life lived more fully in the present. If you've been living with the persistent effects of trauma, please know deep in your heart that what you've been through is incredibly real, and the way your brain adapted to it is absolutely not your fault. It was doing its best to protect you in a situation where you felt utterly unprotected. Taking the courageous step to even watch a video like this, to seek understanding and knowledge, is an immense act of courage and self-compassion. It's a powerful first step toward reclaiming your own nervous system, taking back control, and moving towards a life where you feel more at ease and in charge of your own reactions. So here is one small, practical thing you can begin to do this very week without any pressure to fix anything immediately. Just practice noticing. When you feel that familiar surge of emotion, that sudden jolt, or that intense internal reaction, just pause for a moment. Take a gentle breath and inwardly ask yourself, is my smoke detector going off right now? Is this a real present danger or an echo from the past? That's it. Just naming it without judgment is the first powerful step to creating a little space, a tiny gap between the trigger and your automatic reaction. It's the beginning of bringing your wise watchtower, your PFC, slowly but surely back online. Thank you so much for taking the time to understand yourself and your incredible brain a little better today. This work of healing and rewiring is not easy, and it requires patience and compassion for yourself, but it is so worth it for the freedom it brings. If you found this explanation helpful and resonated with what we discussed, our next video will explore another crucial skill for healing and personal growth: how to build and maintain healthy boundaries when your nervous system is used to chaos, and why that's so vital for long-term well-being. We'll dive into practical strategies you can implement right away.